Have you noticed a sense of impending doom looming over our democracy? America now stands on the brink of disaster, thanks to the scourge of extreme political polarization. This widening chasm between parties and erosion of shared truth threatens to hurl the nation into chaos. The very future of our democratic republic now hangs in the balance. In this video, we expose the gathering forces shredding national unity to its breaking point. We document the profound dangers of deepening hatred between warring political tribes who view each other as enemies to be vanquished, not fellow citizens. And we issue an urgent call to action for patriots to put aside divisiveness and tribalism in service of rebuilding our civic bonds before it's too late. The stakes could not be higher. A fraying republic stands on the edge of ruin. Surveys show Americans view opposing parties more as imminent threats than colleagues to negotiate with. Bipartisan cooperation has completely collapsed, replaced by mutual contempt and unwillingness to compromise. Issues with broad public support stall as leaders retreat into ideological trenches rather than governing. Worse still, without shared truths and with compromised institutions, the entire democratic system now risks collapse into mob rule. Baseless accusations of election fraud erode faith in bedrock principles. Threats and even violence against public officials who are merely upholding their duties have surged. America's enemies abroad now point to internal chaos as proof that self-governance is failing. The tearing of our civic fabric also enables true national emergencies to fester unchecked. The climate crisis, the pandemic, the opioid epidemic, crumbling infrastructure all demand urgent coordinated efforts. But partisan venom paralyzes government, allowing preventable tragedies to proliferate. At this precarious moment, further division and dysfunction could prove the final wrecking ball for American democracy. Reversing course and pulling back from the brink will test our people like never before in modern times. But patriots cannot waste time despairing. The father of our country, George Washington, once declared, "We must take things as they are and not as we wish them to be." Survival of our grand experiment in self-rule requires citizens to rediscover shared humanity, stare down destabilizing forces, and reinvigorate inclusive democratic norms before it's too late. First, we must restore habits of consuming balanced information and debating respectfully with those holding different views. Echo chambers that breed only corrosive tribalism must be escaped in favor of engaging the whole of America. Common ground still exists, but we must seek it out. Next, contact leaders firmly but civilly to demand reforms easing partisanship. Open primaries, transparency in redistricting, incentives for compromise. Stand unwaveringly for truth and democratic principles, not just parties. Modulated voices of reason matter now more than ever. Most crucially, set an example of unity through engaged citizenship. Remind family, colleagues, and youth that working in common purpose makes democracy prosper, while factionalism calls forth its demise. We must illuminate the better angels of each other's nature before primal hatred extinguishes the light of liberty forever. In times of crisis, America has always risen to the challenge because citizens grasped their obligation to country over tribe, cooperation over contempt. That time has come again. Our children's future hangs in the balance. Help redeem the promise of our shared democratic experiment before it slips away into the darkness of history as but a failed dream. The fate of the republic now rests in your hands.